Ahoy! Welcome back. This is the third installment of the Captain's Log, and I'm here still in Bali, Indonesia, in Chengdu, and coming to you from my little pod here in Chengdu, which is a little spot in a co-living space. I live here in a building with a lot of other content creators and business people, and very interesting spot here, Chengdu. You meet so many interesting people in the online, digital, and internet, business space. So it's been very, very interesting, this whole experience for me. Now, when I recorded this last week, I was like, when I ended the recording, I'm like, cool, that's it. Like, how am I ever going to think of anything to talk about next week? It's like I've emptied everything and that's it. And it's just crazy how much happens in a week when you are moving in such a fast-paced world, like a rapid work environment. And, when you're following your intuition and your inspiration, then you end up like moving rapid speed, because I feel like things are like manifesting very, very quickly when you're following that energy, because it's divine energy, it's creative energy. So I really feel like I've been working at rapid speed. So quite a few things have happened this week. So I'm going to share with you guys a few things that I've learned. And I've actually started building something which is very interesting that I'll be able to invite people to very soon. But the first thing I wanted to share with you around my learnings this last week is that I think there's a very high value on creative tension. So when you have this creative tension with somebody, you're actually able to flesh out ideas to a very high level. And sometimes, it feels like a bit of like wrestling is going on, but actually really what's happening is refinement. And you know what I liken it to? It's kind of like sandpaper. When you think about sandpaper, it's a coarse material. It wouldn't feel nice if you rub it on your skin or something like that. But when you have something like sandpaper and it's a coarse thing and you rub it on a piece of wood, then over time the wood becomes soft and smooth and refined. And I really feel that is very important with ideas, because we often want to rush to a solution, or we're kind of like thinking of things in our own loop in our mind. But when you're able to actually meet with someone who's a really good thinker and can really like push back on your ideas and your thinking, then you're actually able together to put those ideas under tension and actually refine them, and they come out so much better. And sometimes you might piss each other off in that process, but I think it is so valuable. And if you can find people like that in your life, in your creative work and endeavor, and or whatever it is that you're creating in your life, I really see the value in that. I think you should really treasure those connections and those people, and add value to each other. Give back to those people, because like they're really hard to come by. And I just happen to have a few of them around me at the moment, and it's so awesome. Like we're just going so fast with these ideas that we're really kind of putting through many rounds of iteration, and sleeping on it as well. Like you got to sleep on these ideas once, or I would say sleep on it twice, for your subconscious mind to start working through it and actually refining it even further. And so when you work with these people, they'll often, you're kind of left thinking, oh shit, this thing's not going to work, because they kind of push you in your thinking. And I think when you leave an idea unfinished and you go to sleep, that's when your subconscious mind starts to like work. And it's actually a more powerful part of your brain, because, frontal part of your brain can sometimes get in the way of actually solving the problem. So anyway, just a very interesting insight. I've got a few of those people around me at the moment, and I'm really enjoying the creative flow that I'm in. So I have started something very interesting, actually. I have started an online community called The Leadership, and it is all about working with leaders to navigate complex change. And I'm not inviting anyone to this group just yet. I'll put the link below. If you are interested, you can submit an application to join The Leadership. But this group is really for leaders, executives, anyone working in a system or a complex system and needs some support with tools, resources, and an environment to actually solve some of the problems, and just have that support and experience of people who have actually gone through large scale, complex systems change. And I really think that this is something that's really, really needed right now. I really love this idea, the leadership thing, and I'm really kind of having a lot of fun with it. I've already written like 4 courses. I'm collating all of my knowledge from like the last 10 years working in knowledge work and MG Taylor and collaboration design and brand and identity and systems. And I'm putting everything in these online courses, and it's going to all be free. I'm going to give it away for free. I think I'm going to keep it free, but let's see what happens. But I might actually, I haven't worked out the model of how that's going to work yet. But for right now, I'm keeping the group free. And really my intention is about supporting leaders through this crazy change that's going on. Like what I'm noticing with my clients is that we're getting, like when you have leadership in this kind of economy and environment, we're in this knowledge-based, information-based environment, we are receiving something like 34 gigabytes of data a day, like downloaded into our brains. So it's like, imagine all these leadership, you've got all these tabs open in your brain. So it's like how you can't sleep at night. I'm noticing a lot of my clients are like, getting kind of like decision fatigue, having to make rapid, like multiple decisions a day, just about so many different things. And because we're moving so fast in this data, this overload of data, I think it's becoming more and more and more important to actually start creating tools and systems to actually minimize that decision fatigue. And it's something that I'm really, really starting to notice is a common theme within my work. So that's something that I think is happening on an individual level. And then you have to think about that on an organizational level, on a big system, complex systems level. That is just like you think about everyone within the organization, and then you think about the technological advancements. And I think that this is where AI is going to come in, because we really do need something that's going to help support with the flow of information and being able to get that information very quickly when you need it, and a place to store it where we can actually, we've got like a centralized hub of data for an organization or a system, so I can really, really, really see that. So something in line with that I've been learning about, and I have mentioned about it, and it's something that I'm going deeper into, is around the idea of building a second brain. And I've been looking into this work of the second brain and the code and the para method. Tiago, forget his last name. It'll come to me, but that's why I need a second brain. But I really love this idea of the para method, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. So basically, I'm looking at file structures in a way of like collating and organizing information for myself and for clients and their businesses. So we've got this 2-part method to the piece, and it's code. So it's capture, organize, distill, and express. So that's how your information goes through levels. So, you're capturing, you've got loose capture tools. Maybe it's a voice note, maybe it's something in your notes, copies and pastes or tools for collecting information from books that you're reading or articles that you're saving, and you store them in just like a loose kind of like folder system. And then you're going to have a place where you organize that according to the para method, which is projects, areas, resources, and then archive. So it kind of like laps over each other. I might make some videos about this in my channel. Definitely going to have some information about this on my online community, the leadership, because I think it's really, really valuable to have these kind of tools for organizing information, so that you can go and grab that info really quickly. And then maybe those areas turn into projects. Like let's say you're collecting stuff on something you're interested about for like a few years, and then you've got enough stuff there, and you're like, wow, I could actually turn this into a book. So that then becomes a project. So I'm looking at ways to actually create collect information, store it in a way which is easily accessible, and then do that on an individual level for the client, and then also, and their team, to have them each individual dashboards, and then also looking at that a way for actually collating that kind of second brain for the whole organization as well. So that's something I'm kind of nerding out on at the moment. And then the community building piece, which I'm really, really, really enjoying. I really love where this leadership thing's going. So basically, there's been a lot of rapid change in the last week since I recorded the last captain's log. So I've literally I've registered my domains, I've thought of the names of the groups, I've written the courses, I've got them up on the Skool, I've done the brand, I've got it all. It's crazy how quick I can move when I'm actually inspired by something. So it's pretty much all up there. I'm just doing a few refinements, and then I'm going to start inviting people to this community. And I'm going to be very particular about who I invite initially, because I want to create a particular type of culture. This is for leaders with serious, complex problems to solve. And I'm also going to be opening it up to the knowledge worker community, the MG Taylor knowledge worker community. So I'm actually going to organize a few catch-ups with some of the KWs around the world. And then I'm going to organize 2 calls on the leadership. So there's going to be one call in, I'm calling the Atlantic, and one call is going to be called the Pacific. So I'm going to do one in the morning in my time on a Tuesday, and an evening on a Thursday, so I can cover the time zones, because I think it's important that we include everyone in the world and build a global community around leadership. And I'm also going to be getting in touch with Matt Taylor, one of the founders of the MG Taylor methodology, my teacher, collaborator, friend. I just sent him an email today, so hopefully we can catch up with Matt. I can catch up with Matt this week, and would love to get him in there first, actually, just to have a look around and get his input on what the leadership should look like. Matt did a bit of sailing, him and Gail, so he knows what a good sturdy vessel should look like for this kind of thing. So I will definitely be checking in with Matt. Another thing that's happening for me is that I'm starting to see these really crazy connections with some of the stuff that I'm doing. I've been having these mindgasms going off this whole week, and I think it's because I'm so in flow and I'm so connected to my path right now. It is ridiculous. Some of the work that I'm doing with Nick Gibson is just we have these calls, and we're whoa, and then this thing, and then this thing, and then this thing. We're just going to all these places and noticing all these connections. And one of the things that we noticed, right, and this has also been within me designing these courses, because the 4th module for for the leadership is actually on leadership and emotional intelligence. Now, this is a problem that Nick is working on with her technology in Truth at Love Out Loud. And she's like, Rix, mate, do you realize I've got the compass. The compass is in Truth. And I'm like, wow, it's amazing, because it's we've got the leadership, we've got in Truth, which is the compass, and then I'm actually essentially a map maker, because I map systems and design strategy. So it's we've got all the pieces there for something really, really interesting to emerge. And so I actually am looking at ways I can actually collaborate with Nick through that part of my program on the leadership, and how we can actually maybe somehow, connect all the leaders in this program on my online course to actually start developing emotional intelligence in leadership through the use of really great tool like In Truth, which will be able to give you feedback. And just to give you a little bit of an insight onto what In Truth is, it's actually a device. Well, it's a software that goes onto a hardware wearable device that actually maps your emotions. So it'll tell you is it a high energy emotion or a low energy emotion? Is it a positive and a negative? So on an X and Y axis, and it kind of charts your emotions. And the craziest thing is that when I first met Nick, when I first reached out to Nick, when I was kind of going through some stuff a little while back in Thailand. And if you want to know more about that, I did a solo podcast on Design on Purpose. I think it's Design on Purpose episode 26, and I talk a little bit about this. But I had this whole realization about the word compassion and the word compass, because the word compass is actually in the word compassion. And people get confused about compassion and empathy being the same thing, and they're actually not. Empathy is actually when you feel, you basically put your own lens on what that other person's feeling. Whereas with compassion, you're actually in a place of complete neutrality. So if you think of leadership and you think of anyone really in making decisions, it's like 80% of our decisions are made on emotion. So when you can take that out of the picture and you're actually making decisions based in complete compassion, which is neutrality, then you're making decisions in alignment. So that's why I think the word compass is in the word compassion, because that's when you're actually making decisions from a direction which is actually in purity, and it's not coming from any fear or anger or, any kind of emotion in that way. So that's what I think is very interesting. It's like, we'll actually be able to measure and actually be able to work with these leaders through actually developing their emotional intelligence through this program at some point when they reach a certain level, which is super exciting. So yeah, we've got this whole nautical thing going on. So, welcome aboard. I love it. So yeah, and then we got so excited about this, and then there was an earthquake. Like, my whole building starts shaking like this, and I'm like, oh my God, Nick, the whole building is shaking. And I was so excited, like, while we're having this conversation, and every time, like, Nick and I get deep into some conversation like this, some weird stuff starts happening. Like I told you last week, the crown that flew off the wall in the podcast. So definitely go and check that out. So the other thing that I've been learning is that it's super important to follow your inspiration. So I think I mentioned that a little bit earlier, but it's like where that energy is flowing is usually where I think you need to pay attention to. And like I would sometimes, like, is that ADHD thing or what is that? And it's like, well, actually, where that inspiration is when I've been put, just, okay, if that's inspiring, just go follow that, put your energy there. And that's what I've been doing. And it's so wild because I've been trying to, like, write this book and put together these materials on some of this stuff that I've been learning, I've gathered over the last 10 years. And basically what I'm realizing is, like, it was really hard for me to actually sit down and put it together. It was a bit of a drag. But, like, in the last week, because I'm excited about this thing, I've just, like, smashed out, like, 4 courses. And it's it needs a little bit of working, but an iteration. And I think once I get the community on board, we'll be able to, like, iterate it further, and I'll get a bit more feedback on it, and it's going to keep improving. But I've just done it so quickly. But it's because that's what I'm excited about. So where the energy is, it's like things can just happen at rapid speed, because you're not, like, dragging your heels. It's not, sometimes there's things you don't want to do that you have to do. Or with these creative projects, it's really just, like, since I've been doing that and following that inspiration, things have just been, kind of really falling into alignment very, 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 very quickly. So I'm gonna keep doing that and see where that goes. I'll be able to report back on that. And I think something else I've just noticed, like, in, I don't know, the last week or so, is around leadership as well. It's like just within organizations and things like that. I just think that with leadership, I think we need a lot less management and more sorry, just got tongue twisted then. I think we need a lot less leadership. I mean, a lot less management and more leadership. So more leaders, less managers. And I feel like a lot of people are used to being managed, but when you have leadership actually is very empowering to the people around the team. And I think, like, I just find like a lot of people have got used to this whole thing of like waiting to be told what to do, or like not thinking, and then it leads to the leadership in the organization getting this decision fatigue, because it's like they can't actually trust that things are going to get done, and that they, like it's like they can't close that tab off the browser because it's like always kind of looming and hanging there. So I just think like in this economy that we're in, and it's just going to be moving at a very exponential speed. It's just going to get more and more and more complicated as we go. I think there's going to be just an increasing need to have leadership, real leadership, and we can teach leadership. Leadership is not something that, some people have a natural tendency towards leadership, but leadership can be taught. There's definitely skills that you can share with someone for them to step into that. So I would like to cultivate more of that kind of culture around, because I'm just seeing the impact of that long term on the CEO or the executive team within an organization. It can be very, very stressful, and it can bring them out of vision and actually doing the thing what they need to do, which is actually being able to look into the future and, keep the company moving forward. So super, super important. And just like, it's just something that, regardless of the industry and regardless of the size of the organization, it's something that just keeps appearing to me. So I'm really passionate about this leadership thing, and purpose is a really big part of that too, because purpose allows those leaders to be empowered in decision making, because they've got a compass essentially to navigate to align to. So it all kind of goes, it all goes hand in hand. So something else that I've also noticed just around like business model and teaching and kind of like getting information out. And this is a conversation that I've been having with my friend Sunny River, my sandpaper friend. It's like there's so many of these marketing salespeople out there that like basically have learned how to do something like get a bunch of followers and then monetize their social media accounts. And then basically they're in this like feedback loop where they're like selling the whole thing that they've just done. So it's like, it's kind of like this like pyramid scheme where they're like, I'm really good at sales and marketing, and I've built this funnel of these followers, and I'm making $10,000 a month, $40,000 a month, $1 million a month. I'm going to teach you how to do it. And then I've just had this experience where I've just like tried to get in touch with somebody who's in this kind of world, potentially to get them as a coach. And they're saying they're a systems person, but actually it was really hard to connect with them. The one guy he was a really nice guy that I spoke to, but like really hard to get hold of. The whole system was a mess. Then I speak to the sales guys. It felt very slimy and didn't feel good at all. So I'm like, I don't really want to build a business like this. So maybe you're not the right coach for me. But I'm just noticing like there's a lot of that around, and like I'm also in Chengdu, and so there's a lot of like these marketing kind of like salespeople around, and like I have great conversations with these people, and a lot of them are really, really skilled at what they do. But I just kind of like have always felt like this was never the model for me. And I couldn't really work out what to do, because I'm like, I actually really want to work with leaders. I want to work with people that are actually systems leaders, people that are actually making a change that need support. I've got all these great skills. I love MG Taylor. I love complexity. My brain can like churn through complexity. Like I love it. I thrive in complex environments and those problem solving environments. Like I froth on it. So for some people it's their hell, but for me I love complexity. I thrive in complexity. I can just process information at a really, really rapid speed. For some reason it's a gift of mine. But I want to work with these people, and I'm like, how am I going to do it? And then, through these conversations with Sunny, and I was going to put these courses together and actually like start charging for them. And Sunny's like, no. Like, think about it like this. And I'm like, I don't know. I was off Skool, like SKOOL. I'm like, I didn't like the look of it. But now that I'm in there and I've like started my community, I've started like rigging it out with all the stuff and my courses and some MG Taylor stuff, and and whatnot. I'm really into it. I'm kind of obsessed, and I'm kind of really looking forward to getting some people in there too. And I'm gonna get some knowledge workers to take a look at this thing too before I do that. But I will put the link in the description down here for the leadership, the about page on the Skool community. I'm still yet to like make a video for the about page, and so I'm going to do that this week. I'm going to go and find a boat to actually film in or something nautical themed. I thought that would be cool. But yeah, I just think I'm not going to let anybody into that just yet. But if you want to start, if you're interested, definitely, submit an application to join. I don't know what you call it exactly. Enlist for the leadership. And I'll see about letting you in when I'm ready. I'll definitely send out some information regardless. But yeah, that's it. What a week it's been. It's been a big one. Like so many epiphanies, so many great things have been happening. Things just getting in alignment. Clients having wins. I really love what's happening in Botswana too. I've got the Botswana on the sprint plan. They're running Asana, like they're like definitely they're in there. The tasks are moving across the sprint. So got to check in with them early next week as well. But all is well here. All is well in Chengdu, and that's my little update. So yep, if you as mentioned, if you do want to jump on the leadership early, sign up. I'll put the link down below. If you have any questions around anything at all, like leadership or purpose or strategy or anything that I'm doing, being a digital nomad, whatever it is, you can always just comment below. Maybe I'll make a video about it or actually respond to your question on the next Captain's Log. Subscribe to the channel. You can also like some of my other channels if you feel to do so. And definitely check out Design on Purpose, the episode with Nick Gibson that I just launched. That is a really, really cool episode. We talk about AI, we talk about emotional intelligence and leadership, and we talk about like global stuff's going on in the world, and yeah, very, 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 very good episode. Probably the best one I've done, I would say. And that's it. Have a great week. Smooth sailing, everyone. And I'll see you next week. Ciao.